Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this of the audience, at this time, we're excited this evening to administer the oath of office to our newly elected board members. The superintendent will administer the oath of office to Mr. Alejandro Aviña and Mrs. Fabiola Calderon. Mr. Jimenez, can you please move forward with the proceedings? Thank you, Ms. Fabiola Calderon and Mr. Alejandro Aviña. If you could please step up in front of the dais. So I'm going to say I, and then each one of you individually say your name separately. I'll start with you first. And then with you, okay? Say, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
Fabiola Calderon,
I, Alejandro Viña,
do solemnly swear that.
do solemnly swear that.
Together.
do solemnly swear that
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and I will well and faithfully discharge
and
I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the
the
duties
duties
in
upon
which
which
I'm
I'm about to enter.
about to enter.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our new Board of Trustees for the Calexico Unified School District. And now you may take your seats. Well, before you do that, we're going to need you to sign your oath of office.
With the black pen, okay?
Mr. Aviña, if you want to.
There's another pen. And then your copy. Sign it. Once I give you a pen.
I need one more, Richard. Okay, and now you may take your seats. We'll now call this meeting to order. Opening items called to order.
Trustees present this evening are Trustee Calderon, Trustee Aviña, and Trustee Contreras. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Anthony, if you could please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item B, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to the sole items on the agenda. We currently have no comments. Items, yep, we already did C. Item D, election of officers. Mr. Jimenez, if you could please provide the explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Contreras. At this time, it is the board's duty to elect officers, and under D1, the board needs to make a motion and a second and approve the election of the new board presidents for this term. So we could have a motion.
I would like to motion to elect Trustee Contreras as president of the board.
I second that.
It was motioned by Trustee Calderon, seconded by Trustee Avina.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
And now we need to, the board needs to elect the clerk of the board by a motion and a second and a vote.
At this time, I would like to motion Trustee Avina as clerk of the board.
I'll second that motion. Call for a vote.
Aye.
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 Vote 3-0, motion passes. The next item is discussion of possible actions. Number 1, filling the 2 board vacancies. Board determination whether to hold a special election or provisional appointment. I want to make a motion that we move on to the provisional appointment.
I second that motion.
About first and second, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Item number 2, consideration and approval of the process and the steps for filling the vacancies. If the board approves a special election, the board directs the superintendent to work with the Imperial County Register of Voters. If the board determines to make a provisional appointment, the board directs the superintendent to advance in the application process for filling the vacancies by appointment. Since we made the I would make the motion again of the provisional appointment, and if there's any discussion. Mr. Jimenez?
Yes, thank you, President Contreras. So with the motion of moving forward to advertise the application process for the provisional appointments, we do have some logistics that we would like to discuss prior to the board taking that vote. We have, by law, we're required to fill the provisional appointments within 60 days of the date that the positions officially became vacant. The 60 days would be February 7th. That's prior to our February 13th board meeting. So in order for us to make the 60-day deadline, it is recommended that the provisional appointment timeline be set for our January 2025, January 23rd, 2025 board meeting. In order for us to be able to do this, I recommend that we send out the application, in which I will share or go over some of that information in a little bit by tomorrow, end of day. That we post the applications on our district website and advertise it also on our district social media, letting our community know that applications are open for people who may be interested and qualifying to serve on the Board of Education, and that we then request that the applications be turned in by January 10th. If they go out tomorrow, the 18th, that would give folks who may be interested several weeks to complete the application and turn it in by January 10th. This would give candidates approximately 24 days to complete the application, and then it would give the board enough time to review all the applications that were submitted, and after reviewing the applications, to invite candidates to the January 23rd board meeting for interviews of those candidates who will be invited to participate in an interview process. The interview process will take place in public session at the January 23rd board meeting. Do these timelines appear fine for you? If the application goes out tomorrow, we request the applications to be returned within 24 days by January 10th in order to conduct interviews at the January 23rd board meeting.
They do.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Okay. And then my next question is just some housekeeping on the application. The type of information that the board would wish to solicit from the application. Certain things that are solicited, for example, could be a resume and or a letter of intent and or some questions to be asked or written responses to be provided to a letter of intent. So, the board could ask to submit a resume, a letter of intent, and answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. There's no real minimum or maximum. It's what the board feels comfortable with. Is there an interest in asking for a resume of the potential candidates? And this is for discussion right now,
I mean, letter of intent, I think letter of intent is a
better
good
way of doing it.
for me.
I'm okay with the letter of intent and, anything else that would normally be on an applicant that applies for an open position.
Okay. There are, just looking at examples that are out there, looking at examples also from CSBA, the California School Boards Association. There are some questions, for example, that ask, and this will be posted tomorrow with the application, that ask, for example, explain why you wish to serve as a Board of Trustees for the Calexico Unified School District. Explain what skills, abilities, and experience would you bring to the board to assist in carrying out your responsibilities as a board member. Describe your philosophy regarding public education, and more specifically, how your philosophy aligns with the mission of the Calexico Unified School District. Describe your personal view of the role of a school board member. List in order of importance the major issues confronting public education, and specifically the Calexico Unified School District. If the board could direct me as to how many questions, I just read out 5, or if the board has any different questions or additional questions, or if you want me to limit to 3 questions or 4, like I said, it's at the board's discretion.
I think the first 3 that you read, I really like those 3.
Okay.
You read 4 or 5?
I read 5, but I could
Okay.
read the first 3.
I think the 3 were, I
Okay.
like those 3. The
Okay.
why, your skills, and what was the other one?
Philosophy.
Yeah.
So explain why you wish to serve as a Board of Trustee for the Calexico Unified School District. Explain what skills, abilities, and experience would you bring to the board to assist in carrying out its responsibilities. And describe your philosophy regarding public education, and more specifically, how your philosophy aligns with the mission of the Calexico Unified School District.
Now, are those questions that we want them to previously answer along with the?
They'll be part of the application, right?
They will be part of the application,
Okay.
yes.
I'm good with those 3.
I am too.
I think if
Me too.
at the point of interview, there something else comes up, and then we could further interview at that point
Yeah, as for,
if we're in a deadlock or something on the,
mhm.
on a secondary type of interview.
Perfect. Okay. So then, without further ado, we will move forward with the application process. We will post the applications effective tomorrow by the end of business. We would request that the applications be submitted by January 10th. And in the application, there'll be a lot more details, a lot more instructions for the candidates on what the requirements are. The board will receive the applications for an independent and individual review of each application submitted, and then make invitations for candidates for the level 2 of the process, which would be interviews at the January 23rd board meeting in open session. So with that, there is a motion to instruct the superintendent to move forward with the provisional appointment application process, and we will need a second.
I second that motion.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Okay. We're gonna move right along today. I think the guys in the back are gonna like us today.
Yes. We won't be here till midnight tonight.
All right, action items, consideration and action approval of the following items. Board meeting agenda dates and deadlines for the calendar for 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second that motion. So motion and second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Item number 2, resolution designating persons to sign the school orders. If you could please provide us with a brief explanation of that.
Yes, thank you, President Contreras. So, as the school district conducts business, it is will be sometimes necessary for school board members to sign official school board documentation, like, for example, resolutions or other documents that are part of the school district's business. And in order for anyone to have the authority to sign school district business documentation, their names have to be approved to have the authority to be able to do this. So this is a resolution approving our new board members to have authority to sign documentation as necessary.
Move for approval.
I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Roll call.
Oh, roll call, I'm sorry. It's a resolution. All right. Ms. Calderon,
Aye.
Mr. Aviña,
Aye.
and I, Contreras, aye. Motion passes 3-0. And motion for adjournment.
I motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Well,
Thank
you motion,
Yeah.
you second?
No, she motioned, I second.
motion and he
okay,
second.
okay.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much. We close the meeting.
And please join us, ladies.